Hello, folks. Welcome to my stream. Although, if you notice that there's like an echo in the audio, can you let me know? Because I am noticing there's an echo But sometimes too, I think with OBS, I'm not sure if I don't use it. Somehow it's not something would change. So I'm not sure what has changed, but I have not updated my OBS between now and last week. So if you notice there is like an echo, please let me know. Anyway, so I'm back now, and then if you have been following me too on my Discord, and I apologize too. I mean, I really have to apologize. It feels like I'm always saying this and that, and then I'm not focused. That's the problem. I'm doing too many things, so sometimes I like to do a bit more coding, but I find myself a bit not able to concentrate too well, and then not able to actually code and cannot remember a lot of things. As you know, sometimes when we're advocates, we have to be traveling, and now with kind of going back, the post-pandemic travel, it's actually a lot of work, especially when I go from the US to outside of the US. Then there are different rules to different countries, and sometimes do have to fill out all these forms, but amazingly nobody knows within the company. So in some ways too, I'm pretty like self, what you call it, DIY, do it yourself. I'm kind of a do it DIY type of person. It's like, okay, if nobody knows, no problem, no big deal. I'll go find out and do it. And finding out about what to do can actually take a lot of time, as you may know, right? If you're traveling, especially too, if you're traveling, the logistics, the itinerary can actually take quite a lot of time to prepare, because it's like, okay, I have to make sure I book a flight that's correct, that will get me to the destination, and then there are costs involved, right? So I want to make sure that it isn't too expensive. All that kind of stuff I have to factor into. And by the time, I spoke with other developer advocates too, and some of them also said, yeah, just to book something yourself, take a whole day for some like one trip. Let's say if I'm going to a conference, or sometimes do I try to group a couple conferences, maybe meetups, like in one transatlantic flight. And then I ended up spending so much time trying to figure out all the flights, and then making sure, I know how to get to the airport, all of these things, and just have a bit of a plan ahead type of thing. And then without knowing, but that's the fun too, right? Without knowing, then you go and discover. I think, for me, I don't know about you, but for me too, I get a lot of kind of, I enjoy doing that type of thing, in which I'm actually discovering new things that I've never done before. I mean, it's funny too. I was never like that before. I used to be more like, oh, I'm not sure. But as I'm aging, and then I feel like, what's there to lose, right? Even if you don't know, and there's a certain amount of kind of rewarding feel to it after you figure something out that you've never done before. So it's more like, for me, it's a way to challenge myself, right? To just try something different and do something different. And I don't really care so much about whether I can do it or not, or basically, to the way when I do things, I tell myself it will always be done, but it's just a matter of time. It may take longer to figure something out, or shorter time, all that stuff. So I mean, given that, not like I have unlimited time, but I know that, well, when I'm doing something I haven't done before, let me try it. And if really it's going to take way too long, then probably I have to drop at some point, because it becomes not practical if I have other things to do. And then, I don't want to be spending way too much time on something that's going to take me way too long, and then take time away from me to do other more important things. So anyway, so I actually enjoy it. Some kind of, like going to new places, seeing new neighborhoods, talking to people. And I love it too. Sometimes, even if I go to a country that I've never been to, not everybody can speak English, and it's understandable. But, there were times in which I was in some neighborhood that I was trying to talk and ended up pointing here, pointing there, writing, drawing pictures, all these things, you try to use. And actually, that's an example from when I was in Istanbul. So I don't know if somebody in the audience now, you're from Istanbul, because I was at the conference called Java Day Istanbul. That was end of May, so it's just a little over a month ago. So that was a lot of fun too. I mean, I did not have time to venture around, but what I normally do is if I go to a place, right, and that one happened to be the uh, the conference. The hotel happened to also be the place where the conference was held. So that was very convenient too. But it was also the hotel is located in a neighborhood, so not like an industrial park. It's really where people live essentially. But then that neighborhood was exciting because there are sidewalk cafes, there are like eateries, restaurants, stores, all kinds, right? And little stores. They are not like big supermarket. Actually, only seems like only in America that you find these huge, kind of company like enterprise running Walmart, running huge supermarket. But other places, most of the time, they are really local owners, and I really like that, right? It's just you feel like so friendly, right? It's less of a industrial feel to it. It's more something more down to earth. But at least that's my interpretation. So I love it. So in Turkey, let's go back. In Istanbul, I remember I got there and I was hungry. That was like in afternoon, late afternoon. So obviously I wanted something to eat, and I could of course eat at the hotel. There is a restaurant there, but I decided, you know what, let me venture around. When I took a shuttle bus from the airport over there, and it was funny too, right? Istanbul, especially Turkey, right? It covers the Asian continent and also the European continent. So the airport is located in the European side, and it took about, there was no traffic, was probably 45 minutes, but that day it took over an hour, maybe an hour and 15. There was lots of traffic jam and they had to stop and pick up people. So it was like an hour and 15, 20 minutes. So by the time, I took the shuttle bus, and then by the time I got there, I figure I had to walk right from the bus stop over to the hotel, which isn't too long away. So I got there, and then I thought, I saw all these little restaurants, sidewalk, they are open restaurants. So I wanted to try some. So that's what I did, right? So in Istanbul, and as you may know, right, they're famous for their baklavas. And also their pies, right? The kind of big pastry with cheese or with meat. So and I don't think they're called baklavas. Baklavas actually was called, what was it? Or maybe is it? Oh yes, it is a Turkish like dish. But actually, they're calling it. There's something, I think it is kind of like baklavas, but they are more for dinner, like a pie, spinach pie, like a Greek kind of spinach pie thing. So there was a name for it. Oh my gosh, it starts with a B. Let me search for it. Let me see. So Turkish pie. What is it? Oh, borek, right? Borek. And let me kind of show it to you. So let me kind of just show it to folks, for people who may not be familiar with it. But if you are actually from Turkey, you're aware of it. They are so delicious, and so I really like it, right? So Turkey, the borek. So as you can see, it's like a pie, right? Similar, right, to, I think the Greeks have like kind of spinach pie kind of thing. I love it. I mean, for me, I just love pastry. I love the pie crust, and so that was really good. So I stopped by actually in that neighborhood and had try some of the borek, and was really inexpensive too. That's amazing thing, and also have their tea. So like with tea, let's say, right. So let's see the tea. So see these little cups. How amazing, isn't it? Oh, actually, where is it? Okay, so these are like I actually wanted to show you that tea because it's amazing, that little teacup. Okay, here we go. I didn't do it right, and let me do that. I wanted to actually see this, right? Google Lens. No, that's not what I want. Okay, here, this one. Let me do this. Okay, here we go. So, like this, but actually, in that case too, I oh, let me kind of close. So it was like that, right? All glass, and then they pour hot tea in a small one, but this one is a fancy one with like a saucer, right? Like a plate underneath. But otherwise, too, they would have these without the saucer, and I just love it. It's just like so amazing, like that, right? like that type of cup. And I mean, actually, mine came with a saucer too because it was very hot, so they had to put it on the plate. It was so great. I love those tea, and basically, there is caffeine to it, so it keeps me awake, and it was good. And I remember I kind of kept drinking. I think I had 3 or 4 cups because they are so small, but they go so well with this borax. But anyway, so okay, sorry, I digress. So, okay, let me kind of go back, but I can leave this on, right? But okay, let's not do it. Okay, well, there's something else. I was looking at some HTTP for multiplexing. So, okay, let me go back to Pulsar. So, all right, so without kind of being distracted too long, so let me kind of get back to here. And let me see if there are actually folks talking. And then, of course, I'm sharing my Discord channel too, if anybody is here. So, anyway, uh, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's summertime, folks, you're not coming, but that is all okay too. I may be talking to myself, but that is okay too. The idea is that I just want to be sharing, so the materials is out there if you're watching this offline too. So, but of course, if it's real time, is better. So last week I had a couple people in Fusnabo came too. That was very nice. This Fusnabo worked a lot with Kafka in the past, so that's very interesting. I was comparing notes a bit with him, right, on Pulsar and Kafka. So anyway, so let me kind of get back into things. So I was like, why did I actually talk about the Turkish Barak? And oh yeah, I was talking about me. When I travel, I like to try different things. I hope you do too. I mean, take some time to explore different cultures, different things that are different from what you normally are familiar with. I think it just gives you a good sense of satisfaction to get to know people, to get to know a new culture, things like that, right? So anyway, that's what I did. Oh yeah, I was talking about how, so I was in the restaurant, and it was just a local restaurant run by this man, and the man had his wife and a small daughter, was there, maybe 3, 4 year old. I think I asked her, I think she was 4 years old, something. And so she was trying to talk with me. We couldn't communicate, but we ended up drawing pictures, and just like she was smiling, laughing, all these things. It was just so much fun. So anyway, I was just talking about that because I think I was just talking about why did I get in there. Okay, let me kind of like not talk so much now. Sometimes do I know, some of us programmers do want to get down to business. So, and that's what I was talking about in my Discord channel. I was hoping to actually work on a use case. And in fact, I've been thinking too, right, with event streaming, again, right, with event streaming, we're talking about data. Let me kind of bring up something. Let me draw something. How about, I think, is it like Miro.com or something? I can use Miro. Or actually, you know what? I don't have a login. Let me kind of do this. I think it's Google Draw or something. Is it fine? Google Drawing. So I just wanted to have a whiteboard to draw things. So, okay. All right. So basically event streams, right? So if I kind of do something like that, and is it like, okay, like event streams. And we want to leverage on event streams to do a trading engine. But actually, let me do it like that. Okay. So project, experimental project is for like a trade matching toy. I call it like toy engine because we wouldn't want to do it right in real life like that. But that's what I've come up with, and just do like what can we do, right? So again, right, a toy matching or a trade matching toy engine. So what do we have in the trade matching? And I wanted to say too, it doesn't have to be trade, but then, you can be doing anything that you try to match, right? So the idea is that there are always two sides if you want to do a match, right? So for the sake of this exercise, so there's buy and sell, right? That's typical, right? If you're doing stock trading, options, futures trading, all of these financial instruments trading. So these are like trade matching. You want to be able to say there are people, you as a buyer, you could be buying some stocks, you see some good price, buy low and sell high, right? That's the thing, right? Or sell high, buy low, right? That's the idea. So So let me kind of write things down in here then. Actually, what I'll do, I'll just keep writing, scribbling in here, right? So a match engine. So we will have two sides, right? Buy and sell. So the idea, the concept is we will have what I want to do is that we want to mimic, right? If you are a stock buyer, if you're doing trading, right, you want to be buying stocks. So you're looking at the concept, right? Or let's put it that way: two sides, buy and sell, and then let's say the material or goods trading, financial. They call it financial instrument, right? So these are kind of more proper terms because I worked for a financial exchange, in Chicago before the Mercantile Exchange and Board Options Exchange. So they call these financial instruments. But then for us too, layman's term, it's really, the stock symbol, for example, right? They're represented by a stock symbol, right? Something like that. So it can be like, which one would be good, right? Stock symbol, let's say IBM. Well, actually, yeah, that's true. I used to work for IBM. But yeah, I think that would be okay. They wouldn't mind. I mean, IBM, it is a proper stock symbol, right? It can be like other stocks too. Could be Apple, right? Or Google. Google is, what is it? Is it? I think it's GOOG. And then they have two class too for Google, by the way. They have like I think there was like, what is it called? Let's see. I mean, we're kind of learning a bit or getting into a bit of the financial trading, right? Symbols. Right? Okay, we can just look up too, right? The stock listing, lookup. Actually, there's also a lookup thing too. Stock symbol, right? Stock exchange. So these are, you have to represent because it's kind of, they have, yeah, that's right, there are different kinds. They're like preferred stock or class of share trading. So let's not get too complicated in here, but that's the idea, right? They're different class and different kind of stock symbol, but that's kind of essentially they're the financial instrument. But actually, if I want to get more complicated, there's financial instrument, but they can be represented by different symbols based on their class, stock class and their, all these different types. But let's not get too complicated. Let's do it simple and call it like financial instrument. And a layman's term is a stock symbol, right? And it's IBM or Google. And let me kind of go back to here. Let's say Google, right? Google will be GOOG, I think. Yeah, they have class A, and because I've looked into it too, two stock symbols, right? So GOOG or GOOGL, that's right. So that's that. But the thing is, otherwise too, let's for the sake of simplicity, GOOGL, I think is more of a limited class. But let's say, just for again, for kind of, if you're familiar with right Apple, all these things. So okay, so we have some financial symbol, but let's say for the sake of just very much a toy engine, we want to match, and we don't care. We just pick one. We'll just say an IBM, kind of symbol. So now what we want to do is that I'm thinking of then we need to what to do. It's basically we have a in financial trading, right? They have what is called market maker, because you can be like, the market, right? Stock market, let's say, is open from morning at 8 o'clock Eastern time and close at 4. So during that time, you could have height of it where there are tons of people trying to buy and sell all of these things, all these confusing things. But the thing is too, you could also be not having anybody actually buying or selling. So the market makers are there. They are actually big companies with the money. They want to kind of stir up the market. So they will kind of inject prices into, the feed, right? Whatever feed, let's say some kind of feed, because I work on this too. But actually, it's funny. You know how we did it? they used to, like some market maker, they used to kind of publish right to TCP socket, and so I had like a Perl program. Yeah, believe it or not, a Perl script that actually would be reading from the WebSocket. Or it's not even WebSocket, it's just a socket, right, an internet socket, and we would be getting prices. So they just come in float, right, or decimal numbers, and we have to parse and do all sorts of things for it. So, but anyway, for the sake of what we need to do, you know what? Let's make it even simpler. Let's do integer. How about that, right? So we'll be mimicking like a buy, right? Buyer, uh, what to do, right? So now let's say some we'll just do stock, you know. Otherwise, we can do futures, right? If you want to get fancy, right? But let's not do that. I mean, let's not go that route. But you know what futures is, right? I mean, just in case, right? So futures is essentially it uses stocks as its base, and then you are not buying the stock itself, but you are buying that stock at a future time. So that's actually quite complicated in a sense, right? Not as complicated as options, because options is another step of abstraction, right? So this actually does get quite interesting too. So I'm trying to say is that, okay, let's not get into futures, but I just wanted to kind of bring that up. But otherwise, too, stock, I think is good enough. Everybody kind of usually understand, you know, stocks quite well. You buy and sell is pretty straightforward. You look at the price and all these things. So we have stock, and let's say we simple. Let's do IBM. Oh, it doesn't have to be too, right? It doesn't have to be. Let's invent our own. Let's say Mary's Twitch something. I don't even know actually if this is like a like one, right? So that well anyway, the simple, and it's called like Mary, right? Something. You know what? Just out of curiosity, is there a trading symbol called Mary? I don't think so. Let me see. Oh, actually, there is. See, and so it's actually on this exchange. Actually, there is. Isn't it funny? Okay, well, we'll use it. I mean, it looks like it's it's very low. It's 17 cents. So wonder it's agro technology. So some kind of agricultural technology. That's funny. So let's do that just for the sake of funny. So call it Mary. And so the thing is too is that we want to be able to let people buy the stocks, right? And anyway, let me go back to the market making. So I don't think I finished explaining that. So market making makers are the ones that pump in some buy and sell. So they stir up the market and get people interested if they are looking for stocks to buy and sell, right? They stir it up, and essentially they may be buying back their own, I think, right? That's what I'm thinking. But anyway, from my perspective, I remember I had to deal with these market makers because they will be sending in prices, you know, in bulk, all of these things. There are different rules too, but let's not get too complicated. So we're kind of basically mimicking a market maker. So then essentially too, what we used to do is have to read in like read from two sockets, right? So one is the buy price, get feeding in, and the other is the sell price, right? So for now, let's just for fun, right? I'm not saying I'm doing the right thing, but let's kind of like get the idea down. We're trying to buy. So let's say, you know, some buyer, so some price, right? And then seller will also have price. Now, that's the thing too. We are not only dealing with one usually, right? In the stock market, you can be handling hundreds, you know, tens, hundreds, thousands of people trying to buy and sell at every point in time. The buyer could be, again, individuals or institutions buying, you know, their big kind of you know, funds, manager, all these things, or they can be like market maker, right? And well, again, let's not get too complicated, but let's just try to learn a bit about this buying selling thing in the financial trading market. So because it's just of my limited knowledge too of trying to share with you, you know, this, and I'm finding it it can be a very interesting case to kind of use event streaming technology to do it. But you know, as you can see, you already maybe can guess, right? So what I'm trying to do is toy engine. We're just gonna simulate buying. There'll be buyers and simulating the buying, and then there's also seller that's trying to sell. So the idea is that we want to do matching, right? So we can set the rules. I think. Okay, so in reality, too, how they do matching is actually I believe is quite interesting. Again, it gets complicated, but for our sake, make it a little bit less complicated is to say, now we're going to deal with one pipeline of prices get pumped in, they are the buy prices. And another pipeline coming in is the seller prices. In fact, I was kind of also thinking too, we're simplifying it. Just call it one stream for buy, one stream for sell. But in reality, right, you can have multiple streams for pumping in your buy price and pumping in your sell price too. Why? Because you could have people buying maybe from different exchanges, right, and in feeding in for different, trading, what you call those brokerage firms, right? The brokers, right? They can have different feeds. They don't usually feed right into the exchange. They have to kind of go through some kind of engine, right? So they have different sources of where the buyer and seller comes from. So then potentially you can have more than just one stream for each type of activity, buy or sell, right? But that's why too, I'm thinking that would be a really interesting case if people are implementing. If you are working for financial trading engines or a trading company, you have to implement an algorithms. It's not simple at all. So you could be reading, buy prices from many different sources. So using an event streaming technology, using different pipelines is actually recommended because let's say theoretically, a very popular company is going to go IPO. There will be a lot of people trying to buy it or sell it, just stir it up all the excitement, right? The prices, everything, everybody's anticipating. You could actually have 100,000 people trying to buy and sell at the same time. They are coming from different sources. Again, some could be from institutions, some are from individual traders, going through their brokerage firm, and brokerage firm actually goes through different financial services, for example, things like that. So all these gateway they have to go through, but essentially to the exchange, you could have a few sources, right? So I can have different streams, but for this example's case, we're just going to have two streams coming in for now, right? Maybe at some point, if we get this basic thing working, this basic toy thing working, we can actually add in extra streams to represent the different sources of data coming into. So, okay, so essentially we can have buyer sending in all the prices at any point in time, right? It's asynchronous, stream anytime, right? And how do they do it? Okay, for us, right? Maybe for our exercise point of view, we can actually write a simple client program that will just maybe continuously bash script or something and keep in a loop, right? Pumping in numbers, random numbers continuously, maybe pause, have some different things to throttle it so then it doesn't choke it, the stream or something. We can do that. So okay, so let's do it like that, right? So the price coming in. So how to send in prices, right, to the streams, to the pipe. Actually, I should say to the data pipe. I call it the data pipeline. So this is more an implementation thing. We're going to do command line, maybe a script, something, right? And then if you're familiar more with other Python, kind of, Python in some ways like scripting, right? Is interpretive. So you can do any kind of kind of more scripting type of thing and essentially pump data into your data pipelines. So, or if you want to get fancy, you can also do some kind of GUI interface. That probably would be easier, right? And it can be a JavaScript, JavaScript or what other thing. Actually, you know what? I've been very bad not doing any UI stuff, but UI stuff is actually so useful. I'm finding. So we can be, let's say just use JavaScript. Maybe I'll get back to doing a simple JavaScript, and all we do is basically enter your price and we keep entering it, right? And we can have multiple web browser interfacing and pumping the data in too. So we can use a GUI interface or doing a command line. Either way, I guess either way too will take a bit of time to do that. So where do these data go, right? So once we receive it, it's basically it will go to the topic, right? So these are so basically their data gets sent to the topics accordingly, right? So gets sent. I'm sorry, sent to the topics accordingly. So now we have two topics, right? That will correspond to buy and sell, right? So again, this is kind of a simplified case, right? But in reality, you could have multiple topics that are actually, essentially two. Well, I should put it that way. You can have different producer to the same topic. Let's put it that way. But of course, too, for any kind of publish, subscribe topic, you can actually have multiple producers going to the same topic too. So that's another thing, right? Because normally when we practice, we say one-to-one, the producer always produce to that topic, another producer to another topic, but you can actually have multiple producers to the same topic, and then that topic be subscribed by multiple consumers, right? And they will be receiving, the data accordingly. So that's that. Okay, so I think this should be somewhat, the bare minimum, kind of simple enough for us to kind of get going, right? And basically implement the data pipeline, having like two topics. One is a buy, one is a sell. And then in order to pump data in, we'll first do an CLI, like a bash script to set up this thing to pump data in. Later too, when we get it to work, we can add in like some JavaScript, like a GUI, small JavaScript program that would actually bring up in your browser, right, and be pumping data in to these two topics. Now, and then the next thing is that, well, before we get to, again, there are some more things to do too. So now, the first part is sort of we sort of know what it is, at least on a high level. So the next part is basically the matching now. So we need to then have the rules, right? Matching rules, right? Rules. Now, in reality, yeah, that's right. So now it gets into the trait matching part. So in reality, too, doing trait matching is quite complicated, as you can see. There are lots of rules that are kind of fall into it, and of course, too, as if you are kind of a seasoned trader, right? You know that when you send some prices in. Or you want to buy something, you propose a time to also, like, basically you need to tell when you want to buy it, right? They're like, they call it like stop order. What is it called? A different kind of trading. Now I forgot, right? I used to kind of hear a lot about those stock market order types. Right? So 5 types of orders. So here we go. Market order, right? And I hope you can see that. And we can get it a little bigger. Yeah, so there's like placing a trade order. There are 5 common types, right? And again, and just for FYI, I sometimes like to just, not just like writing code, but just try to understand the context we're in, right? So if I think it's always good, in my opinion, to know a bit more, because while we can do something, implement it as is being told, right? And we know, right, as developers, how hard it is if we need to make changes to your program, if the requirements change. So that's why, too, I think it's good, right? Sometimes you know a bit more about the context that you're in. So when you're doing design, you take that into account, then you can be aware of what to kind of do, right? If you're designing something, you know that, oh, actually in reality there are different order types. So when you design, let's say, your database, you can have a database that, for now I'm only doing basic order or something, a market order, right? And basically you do want to have different order types, like limit order, stop limit order, and trailing stop order. So these are like 5 basic types. But it's actually, too, I think there are some other new kind of order types too. But in any event, what I'm trying to do is that and it complicates things, because the thing is, too, is that you can be placing an order for a financial instrument, for a stock, right? And you're saying that, well, I want to buy is a limit order. So basically, I only want to buy, if the price is not over a certain amount of money. Now, of course, too, and that's the thing, with trading is exciting too, because at any given point in time, the price keeps changing. You get more and more people coming in, buy and sell all these. So then the price doesn't stay, so the state of this data, think of the data state, keeps changing. So it gets hard, to do things. So therefore, I think on the trading market, they have to put in this type of different types of order types. So then you're trying to buy something and then you only buy it, you put a limit on it. If you say, okay, I only buy it, the highest I'm willing to pay is $10. Right now is at 9 or something, and whatever that is, right? There are different types. And so you want to put in these different order types. So let's say, maybe in our program, let's not do it too complicated, just kind of do market order. Essentially, market order we can do is a trade order to purchase at the current market price, right? So that probably will be this. Okay, let's say rules, we'll do market order type, right? It's a type, right? Okay, so market order, buy or sell at the current market price. There's not limit, it's not stop order, all of these things. So the matching rules are that it makes it a little easier. Market order in general tends to be easier, but their stop order also has a time element that says that, well, if I can't find a match, then I will cancel my order, that type of stuff. So it also gets quite complicated. Actually, that's how I first learned about messaging using JMS, was when I worked for the trading firm. I had to help implement a stop order. I was a full stack developer, so I was doing the JavaScript side, although not full blown, right? The user interface, a web user interface for subscribers, for traders already is there. So it's just more like adding a special type. And it's actually get complicated because when you do stop order, I have to do a JMS and messaging that tells me, right, when the time is up, then I would have to cancel the order, that type of stuff. So messaging is therefore very important, especially when you're implementing functionality that has a time kind of limit, a time constraint to it. So anyway, so I was just going to say that. And so, doing trading applications, you tend to learn a lot because of the complicated trading rules. And this is actually very good. And it gets you exposed to a lot of different types of technology, namely, primarily the real-time type of work. So event streaming, again, right? Event streaming, event processing, all these are not new. They have actually been in, at our service for a long time, but they are like different, right? It used to be the asynchronous type of processing, event handling, there are callbacks, right? And then they're like, this term, therefore this term is called callback hell, because then you can be like having a listener, right? Listening for changes, right? To these, then your event handler, if there's event happens and it triggers that action. And so basically too, you have callbacks, right? So something happens and the callback will come back and wakes up, essentially sort of like wake up and do something. But the thing is, it can be a lot of, kind of not very easy to deal with. How do you trace back, right? So these days with virtualization, with all of these things in the hardware, we're getting a bit of an advanced kind of thing, with reactive technology, which I talked about a lot previously. They're kind of like in very close kind of cousin, right, of like doing event streaming. It's very, very likely. But of course, reactive slightly different. It actually, I should say, I'm actually still trying to figure out, right? There's reactive. It has to satisfy the four principles, right, of responsiveness, scalability, elasticity, and the message-driven messaging kind of thing. But I think, with event streaming, it kind of probably deals more with a bit of the mechanism of eventing, right, rather than these manifesto. It actually already does its thing, event streaming. It does the scalability, or it enables scalability, and also recoverability, right? Event streams too, I guess in a cluster environment, it's always very resilient too, because if you have like a platform such as Apache Pulsar, is basically really cool because it has the multi-cluster underneath already kind of built in, and it manages all of these things for you for recoverability, resiliency, and of course highly responsive. And as we know, right, pops up type of kind of mechanism too. So anyway, and there's also the message driven aspect. But for event streaming, is interesting. It's more of a pops up, whereas like I think reactive technology, although I have to say then for message driven, messaging, then it's more a queuing type of mechanism. Now, for Pulsar, it's slightly different. Pulsar has an eventing kind of pops up broker, but you can also do queuing because there's a mode of pops up subscription is called exclusive mode, and so you can only have one consumer, right? So that's essentially the thing. Queuing is one-to-one, right? Queuing is dealing with one-to-one, one producer to one consumer. But essentially, too, you can, technically speaking, you have multiple producer to the same topic, though, right? So same topic subscribed to by only one consumer, right? So that's kind of exclusive. It's kind of a form of queuing in that sense. So, okay, so that's that. Okay, enough talking. So let's go back to this. Our matching, right? The rules will be a market order. And then why do we do this? To make things simple, right? We can say, by well, let's make up the rules first. Now that's important when we do any kind of coding. We can't just start programming because we need to understand our problem first, our context. So that's what I'm laying out the rules. Let's do a market order, buy or sell at the current market price. And the next thing is, let's put a time limit to it, because in reality too, how they do matching is that I think, you get prices constantly pumping in for electronic, kind of matching, right? But bear in mind too, in stock market, futures options market, right? They used to have what they call open outcry, right? Open outcry is you see pictures of the traders in the trading floor yelling the prices out loud, and they have different hand symbol to indicate the prices, buy or sell, low, all of these things, right? And I don't fully understand, but I've watched people when I was working at I didn't go to the floor, but I was behind the scenes, right, in the IT room, helping with the operational side and development side. So, but it was very interesting too. All these, traders, they have different rules. They have to wear different jackets, right? And it's very interesting. And some of these traders get very creative, and they do different color of their trading jackets, and they mean different things. Actually, now I think of it, I think somebody gave me a trading jacket. I need to go into my closet and look for it. I forgot about it. I think I put it somewhere in my closet when I left the exchange. So anyway, I mean, just for fun, right? Let's take a look. Okay, stock market traders. See? Oh, wait, stock market traders jacket. Okay, trading floor jacket. Let's say a New York Stock Exchange. Okay, these are not very exciting. Let me take a look. Let me look at, now that we're kind of look at something. Okay, all right. Let's go back in here, images. Okay. So I just want to show you a couple pictures, right? Look at them, right? They're different colors, because I think they are also the different colors to also signal. Yeah, here we go. I wanted to show why people get it. You sometimes you see traders like wearing these funny looking jackets too, and it's kind of make it more fun, I suppose. And really, it's like a big marketplace. It's like a big kind of chaotic thing. This is kind of like a very typical open outcry thing, right? This one they took it at UK. Interesting. The UK market, right? So there are people getting crazy, yelling, shouting, and all of these things too. I think there are people getting fights too. Some of you love fights, I guess, right? What is it? There was one that was fighting, isn't it? And people getting upset because maybe they lost an opportunity or whatever. It's just anyway. It's really fun. Yeah. Anyway, so okay, I don't mean to get all into that, but okay. So just wanted to show that to you. So matching. Let's go back to that. So the rules is we try to match it. So how they actually do it, I think normally too, you do a price and all of these things, and you have to be really fast, because you can be suggesting a buy price and somebody trying to sell very low. You could have two people trying to buy at the same time. And then from the seller's point of view, of course, the seller will pick the one with a higher price and that type of stuff. So you lose out, right? And that type of stuff. So, but the thing is too, is that in reality is that, or in digital trading. Now that's another thing, because it can happen in a split second too, because when you do people to people, there could still be a slight kind of difference, and you also get telephone orders, so it gets very confusing. So The thing is that let's set a rule in this, so we can just say, we have a window, right, of the price coming in. So in other words, now we can see, right, we have prices pump in, but at the same time, we also want to mark that particular price with a time, because the time is important because it's applied to that trade window, right? So let's say we can just do rules. This has to be market order, and then we can also say basically, you know, it's called a transaction, right? Must occur within let's say 2 minutes, right? Something like that. Now, in our example, maybe we want to pump a lot of data in and then we want to match, right? So let's say transaction, that means a buy sell must occur within 2 minutes, something like that, right? I mean, I don't know in reality how many it is, but let's say we do it 2 minutes. And then within this 2 minutes, right? So how to match, within the 2 minutes? We try to match. Okay. So, and then the 2 minutes try to have a match. So basically, too, we can say buy and sell. Actually, how should we do it now? That's where the complicated thing is. We're trying to match it. So you have buy price coming in. There is also sell price. So we want to basically match a buy price with the sell price that's closest to each other. So let's say we want to match, right? Let's say, well, actually, that's another thing. What to do, right? And which one is the anchor, essentially, right? So we can have buy that is coming in. Can it come continuously in a stream? And then the thing is, we then want to look for a price that somebody's seller's price that's closest to what the buyer is saying. So within the 2 minutes, buy and sell. Now there's also another thing, right? There are spreads too. I think there are different kinds of spread. Let's take a look. I forgot exactly. So let's go back to here. Charlie Hill. But okay, so buy and sell spreads. Okay, so there's this thing. I also try to understand too. The buy-sell spread represents the estimated transaction cost incurred when buying or selling underlying assets in relation to investment options. Transaction costs differ between REST investment options. Okay, that's another thing. That's a different thing. That's financial REST kind of thing, not programming REST. Okay, anyway. Okay. So let's not kind of like get way too complicated, but I just wanted to sell spreads, right? Okay. In options to write, okay. So maybe the spread is more for options trading and not for stock. So, all right, then I won't worry about this right now. But I thought the spread. Okay, let's see. Okay, so let's see. What is a spread? A spread can have several meanings in finance. Generally, the spread refers to the difference between two prices, right, or rates or yields. In one of the most common definitions, the spread is the gap between the bid and the ask prices of a security or asset, like a stock, bond, or commodity. This is a bid-ask spread. So that might be important to kind of know. Understanding spread. Spread can also refer to it's basically difference in a trading position. So the gap between a short position, that is the selling the short position is selling in one future. Okay, so maybe I don't need to worry about it because spreads are more applicable to maybe to futures and options and not to the underlying instruments, which is like stocks. So well, anyway, maybe I shouldn't be concerned with that. Let's not kind of get our stuff too complicated. Otherwise, we'll never kind of figure it out. But let's say, for simplicity's sake, right, we won't be doing it in reality. Buy and sell, the price difference has to be minimal. Yeah, the difference has to be the lowest among, let's say, right, within the 2 minutes. So as you can see, it gets complicated because at every 2 minute interval, right, you can have a chunk of buy, chunk of sell. And then we want to then immediately make the match, right? There's 10 buy, let's say there are 10 buy and 20 sells within 2 minutes, right? Something like that. So within that, we have to do each one, the buy and sell, all these prices. We then, our algorithms will have to figure out the price difference between the buy and the different sells. And then we pick the difference that has to be the lowest to be the match. And that's the key. So with that, then we can kind of say, okay, this is our algorithm. This is how we do the matching. Now, of course, don't use this in a real trading scenario, because in a real trading scenario, there are a lot more rules. But for the sake of what we need to do, we can just say this, right? And okay, let me kind of scroll it down. And why is this thing so funny? Okay. Okay, I think if I keep doing it, will scroll too. So buy and sell, we have a match and buy and sell. So we have to have then some way, right, of all of the data coming in. Once we find a match and a buy and a sell with that particular pick, then the rest it can keep going too, because then the next window of the 2 minute too can kind of keep moving, and it gets complicated. But how should we do it, right? Should we kind of really do that, or should we just say fixed 2 minute window? Maybe that's what we'll do. Okay, for now, it must occur within 2 minutes. Let's do that. Transaction must occur within 2 minutes chunk, and each 2 minute window is fixed. Okay, so this is kind of like the toy part. The toy part of this algorithm. Because in reality, too, this window keeps floating. But for now, if we do it fixed, then makes our job a little bit easier. But basically, too, let's say within the 2 minutes, right, we kind of identify prices coming in. Within the 2 minutes, we kind of chop it off. That's the window. We try to find a mix, try to find a match. How do we do a match? It's basically between the buy and sell. They don't have to have the equal amount of buy and sell. We need to then figure out which pair gives you the lowest price. So lowest, then it would be called a match. And once we do that, then that's it, right? Okay, so this is called matching. Yeah, on the toy level matching. Level. So meaning that not for real kind of thing. Okay, so I hope this kind of make it a little bit clearer now. So buy and sell, and then once we have that, then we can immediately then publish it out and said, okay, this buying price and that selling price, that's a match. So maybe that's all we need to do. Okay, so has to be lowest. So then as soon as a buy sell is pair is matched, we print that out or info. We print actually I should say we print out the match. Okay, so that's all is needed. In reality, too, of course, if you're doing like real time kind of buy and sell, you need to do a lot more. But for now, for this toy idea, we just need to identify, print it out. That's all is needed. I think that's kind of enough to keep us kind of busy. Okay, let's review then. Experimental project, a trade matching toy engine, 2 sides, buy and sell. The materials and goods for trading in some financial instrument, right? And what to do, right? So the stock symbol, we say we're buying Mary. The stock, is basically an agro technology firm. And buy price, seller will publish the price, and how to send prices to the data pipelines accordingly. We'll have implementation as a CLI, client script that pump in the data for buy and sell separately. And then if it's all good, this is kind of like a bit the next phase project, right? So that would be do the scripting part, the CLI first. And then the data gets sent to the topics accordingly. We'll have 2 topics. One is the buy, one is the sell. And then matching now. So on the toy level, right, not for real, these are rules is we'll do a market order, we'll buy or sell at the current market price. And transaction must occur within 2 minutes. So we do it kind of like the toy level, not for real, and make it kind of easier for implementation is to have fixed time window. Every 2 minutes, we identify the window, and within it, we'll do the processing of matching. And we try to find a match by comparing the buy sell prices and then pick the one with the lowest price difference, right? Then they will be the match. Now, we might be thinking, well, what if there's more than one buy sell kind of, you know, with the lowest price, right? It is very true. So I think what we want to do is then pick the one. Let's say, well, that's another complicated thing, because you could have, you know, three buys wanting to buy at the same price, and then only two sell, right? So in that case, you only allow for two transactions to happen, and we pick the earliest ones, right? It's always like three buys, then we pick the buyer who's the earlier buyer, the earliest two, right? It's always the earliest two, right? It's kind of everything is in time order, so pick the earliest ones that will match how many is in the cell. So that's how we can kind of do it. And then once we identify these buy sell pair, they match, then we print out the match. And then we can say, okay, this first phase of the project is ready. Okay, so now I hope it is becoming clear, right? So now, how about this? We kind of start to do the first thing first, right? And how to send in prices to the data pipelines accordingly, right? Oops. Okay, let me kind of do that. Okay, okay, oops. Okay. Oh wait, here we go. So let's do a client CLI kind of script to actually kind of pump the data first. How about that, right? And again, you know, ideally is to do a GUI interface, like doing a JavaScript use UI kind of thing, and then we can kind of enter it more interactively too. But for now, let's do the command line version. That's always fine use too. We know we need that. So let me then bring up my my Emacs. I think I always like to use my Emacs. All right, let me just kind of set my thing over here. I'm sorry, my nose is very itchy. I don't know why every time when I'm doing my stream here, my nose starts to itch. Anyway, I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay, let me kind of set up things too. Okay, yeah, let me put it over here and you can see. Okay, you know what I'll do? Let me kind of do it so then I can, we can have this requirements on the left side. So let me kind of, okay, here we go. So I just have the, if you remember, that's my Pulsar client conf file. Again, you know, folks, it's okay to. This is just for testing, so I therefore don't worry so much. And but let me then kind of do a script. I think for me to do script, I always like to use Emacs to do it. So actually, that's the thing too. That's another thing. That's right. Okay, let me see if I could actually even do this. Can I actually put in another one? It doesn't. Okay. All right. Well, let's do it like that. So I thought I could kind of put three different windows of three split screens on each of my virtual window, but it can't. So, okay. By the way, this is, I'm working with Pulsar and I have a sample that's working with Swim, if you remember. So I'm trying to get AJ from Swim to come on board, but he's been busy. So at some point we'll do that. So let me kind of do this. These are all our stuff in here. And I just don't want to lose some of these. Okay, that's fine. And you know what? Let me actually do another. Okay, let me just. Okay. Why is it like all white color? Is it okay that the color looks okay, right? Yeah. Okay, so in this case, I just need to kind of like work folder, and I wanted to. It's in my Twitch, and I want to do the trade engine project. Okay, so I created that. So now let me Twitch trade engine. Okay, and then call it like what is it called now? Price. What is it? Let's do okay. Um, okay, let's separate the data out. Let's do actually. We can use a file. Let's use file for our input prices, right? So that's funny, right? Now I'm doing everything on the fly. So how do we actually get the prices is what I'm trying to kind of understand, right? So let me kind of do this. And okay, trade engine. Let me do this one thing called this script is just called the price. What is it? Buy price, sell price, or price add. I want to give a more descriptive thing. It's called add price. Let's call it like that. Something like that. Okay, so call add price. So okay, so what do we want to do? We want to be able to add the prices to an endpoint, right? Or am I correct, right? So here's the thing. Let's kind of look into our. Let me kind of make it bigger again. So we want to be able to send the prices to the data pipelines. Okay, so here I am kind of thinking now. So I want to be able to have this as the entry point of all of these prices that's sent over to the topic. But how about this first? Let's create the topic first. Actually, the thing is, I need to think a little bit. Okay, so how do we do a topic, right? Now, again, now comes into play, right? Using Pulsar. Pulsar is a pops up, you know, kind of enabled, has this broker, helps you with your streaming platform. So what we can do is we want to create the topic. If you remember, right, topic is essentially labels the type of data that the producer is going to send to, and then so subscriber consumer can then knowing which topic to subscribe to. So let's create the topic first. And let's do this. Astra.datastacks.com, right? And then now again, let me kind of share with you now. I think I already have something in here. Okay, so astra.datastacks.com. Get your free account. You don't need to give your credit card. This is how you can do it, okay? And so I will move this, maybe move it over here for now, maybe. Okay, so it doesn't, okay, let me kind of make sure it works over in there too. Yeah, okay. All right, so here we go. Sign in with my Google. Are there anybody saying anything today? It's kind of quiet, I guess. I don't even know how to know. I don't even know if many of you are here today. It might be a little bit, summertime. I kind of thinking maybe everybody, even at my work too. And this is like the week after July 4th, not week after, but 2 days after July 4th. And by the way, just so sad, right? About the news, about the shooting actually near me. Not that close, but still close enough that, if I compare the whole country, it is in my area, metropolitan area, about, people getting shot, from, this apparently, not well, a mentally not well person. I mean, I pray for him. I think he probably is suffering himself with a lot of problems, but, some ways it cannot be forgiven. It almost seems like, you have your problems, but why do you have to kill other people? But let's pray for a better world is what I feel. Let's do our part, to be good. And I do believe most of us are good. But anyway, It just comes to mind because it's just 2 days after July 4th. So especially for those of you who are not based in the US, I know this is incomprehensible. And then here in the US, people are so easy to get guns to, and this is just a young person. I don't know. I'm hoping, things will be better is what my prayer is, right? Ask God really help, especially people who needs help. Maybe it just means we try to reach out to people, ever since they are little too. Maybe this person never experienced, love, being loved and being guided spiritually. I think that is so important, right? And we just need to, be able to recognize peace, that we need to have. But anyway, okay, so here we go. We're in Astro streaming. So here we go. Let's use one of my stream. Now, if you want to create your own stream, you can do a create stream right over here. Create stream, create your own tenant. Again, Pulsar is a multi-tenant streaming platform, which is nice, right? So what is the tenant, right? Okay, let me actually quickly show you that, like a slide too that I have. I think it might be kind of good to kind of review a little bit. Let me get it. I'm so sorry. Okay. Yeah. Oh, where's my slide? When I look for things, event streaming. I guess I thought I had my slides already there, but I think I closed it. So let me open it, and then I'll bring it to the other side. Let me see, slides. Okay, let me do this one thing. Okay, I have it here, so let's go over here. Okay, now I did this at Thessaloniki 2 weeks, or actually, yeah, so 2 weeks, almost 2 weeks ago. So in Greece, it was really beautiful there, very hot and humid, but lovely visit. If you're from there, thank you very much in this audience. So, okay, so I was there, but again, wanting to talk about the multi-tenancy of Pulsar. I think I find it sometimes useful to be kind of discussing about these things, right? Multi-tenant. This thing is actually very important too. Here we go. Okay, so multi-tenancy in Pulsar, it's actually a very nice feature. So as you can see, right, so it helps too with the operation. So Pulsar has this capability. I think of a cluster, right? Pulsar is in a cluster, but within it too, actually is being, you can subdivide it kind of nicely organized according to tenants, right? It's called tenants. Think of it. I like to explain this like an apartment building, right? Inside you have many different units, right? Different unit in the apartment building. They each are self-sufficient, right? It's like apartment building. You have your own bathrooms, kitchen, bedrooms, everything is self-contained. But within it too, it's being managed by the Pulsar cluster. So think of the management, right? Apartment management. But the thing is, this multi-tenancy is very useful because in a computing cluster, cloud native environment, you have a tenant, and then underneath it too, there are namespace that actually are managing the different topics. And it's actually a very nice kind of way of organizing all of your information for a multi-tenant system in like a cloud native type of system. So that's what it is. So, okay, so that's just one I want to quickly share first, and then let's go back in here. So if you want to create a stream, right, we go back to Pulsar, enable event stream, you just enter your tenant name, right? Let's say, I don't know, kind of like Pulsar tenant, something like that, right? Oh, it's lowercase, that's right. Pulsar tenant, something like that. And then pick a region, right? So right now we kind of only have these three available, but we're gonna, our engineering is working on improving the regions and more clouds do eventually. But for now, I think these are sufficient, especially if you want to experiment with it. This is quite sufficient. Just pick anyone you want. Let's say Google Cloud, I'm in Central, so US Central region, and then you create it. And that's all I need to do. And it actually is it doesn't take as long as it used to be, which is nice thing. So in this case, I won't kind of go through that because I already have created a bunch. So let's use MG Twitch tenant one. So that's the one I'll use. And then over here too, if once you have created it, let me kind of expand it a little, right? And so see it better. Again, you look into the dashboard, right? It helps you basically, right, in data stacks where I work for. Now, of course, you can use other vendors that are implementing Apache Pulsar, or you can actually use the, straight out of open source, the Apache project Pulsar as well, the open source one too. But this one is nice with data stacks. This extra streaming is that it's a managed cloud, and of course, again, you are restricted to only 3 cloud providers, but these are major cloud providers that you can use. But otherwise too, if you have your own cloud, I believe you should be able to use the open source version, and then you have to do your own managing, right? You have to deploy set all of these things up. So sometimes having a ready-made cloud platform makes it easier too. And of course, DataStax is Cassandra, provider managed Cassandra platform in here. So you can actually have your streams work well with Cassandra as well, the managed Cassandra, which is called Astra, right? Astra DB. So that's that. And let's kind of get into here. So quick start, right? So you can you can create a topic in here and then produce the data, consume the data, confirm the data is flowing. So now kind of coming back in here, you can take a look now. Once you create, again, you download your client.conf file, which actually I was showing you the one that I happen to have. So that contains your, your tokens, your security plugins, all of these information for you to do your coding too. So it's in there. You want to do that. But once you create it, then you see all of these, parameters in here, right? The broker service URL is always connecting with Pulsar and SSL. And then web service URL is what you use when you try to use the command line Pulsar admin to do administrative thing. And then there's also WebSocket URL if you want to go that route too. So, and then all these things. So that's that. And then so now let's kind of go into here. As I mentioned, let's create a topic. Oh, that's interesting. I think I already have. That is interesting. When did I create? Oh, you know why? Because I did it. Actually, I'm actually using this one. Okay, so that's another thing. If you want to play around with it, actually we have some ready-made data that you can leverage on and to learn about Pulsar topics too. So basically, too, I created already. I almost forgot. That was 2 months ago, I think, when I first kind of put my hands into it. So there are like example too. So I wanted to kind of get to it and show it to you. Let me see. Quick start. I think if you go back to here, there are examples. Getting started, right? Or interact. No, wait. Where is it? Is it over here? Topic. More details. Okay. Well, wait. Where did I get it from? Try me? No, sorry. But let me see. Pardon me. Let me kind of take a look and see where I got these topics from. Or is it quick start? Quick start. Getting started, maybe. Okay, of course, too, you can always kind of step to the getting started. If you're on your own, you want to play around with it, create the tenant, for example, things like that. It's all documented in here, pretty self-explanatory. You can do it at your own pace, like that too, right there. But the thing is, I wanted to get back to here. I wanted to go to that place where we give you some sample to start with too. So is it namespace topics or dashboard connect? These days I don't have anybody joining me, so I'm not able to actually interact and get suggestions, because sometimes when Foodstable used to be here, he'll be telling me what to do. You guys are so good. But like I said, let me kind of go into here. Let me see which one. Admin API topics. No, not this. And not that. Okay. sources, sinks, no functions, namespaces. Okay, so I have these default namespaces, but where did I get the data, right? Is it quick start? How can it be? Okay, maybe in here. Okay, so again, if you want to have quick example, code example, going to the tab that says connect, you'll be able to figure out if you want to do Java or Python, all these things, you can get it from here. But I wanted to point out to you that we have the data that you can use. Um, how can it be? Oh, you know why? I think I know. I kind of remember now because we were trying out CDC, which is change data capture, is a pattern, right? In which it's able you can install, into your Cassandra database, which is in this case the Astra managed Cassandra. You can actually enable the change data capture there. So then any changes, right? You have to then specify, right? You want to essentially watch for any kind of changes in any columns that you're interested in. And so any state changes, it will actually trigger the action for you. And then you have to write your functions to kind of do whatever you need to do. And essentially, that's what it is. So I think it's actually this thing came from this side, which is you have to go back to the database side. And over here, see this CDC? It's here. So you have to go to your database and then CDC, movies, see the movies and TV. That's what I was using. So, and I just wanted to give you an example of how you can kind of have some data to play around with. I think it's connect over here. Not CQL console. Now, if you want to interact with the managed Cassandra, you go back to your database side and then pick the database that you've created. You should be able to then access the CQL Cassandra query language console to do things with it. And then CDC is what it is. Oh, here we go. What am I doing? See the one up here, right? The load data. So there we go. So if you click on load data, so look at here. So you can upload your own data set. So these are essentially CSV format data, or you can load a pre-made data set. These are really for you to do experimentation. These are contains test data. So that's what I did. I created, or basically I loaded the movies and TV shows, and that's how it got created. So if you want to do NFTs for Ethereum, for blockchain, or doing restaurant locations, you can do that too. Or you can always create your own data set to play around with too. So, all right. So let me then kind of go back and wait, what am I doing? I need to I need to hide this now. So I think I kind of displayed the Astra.datastacks.com long enough. Okay, so here we go. So here is how you can load up your data loader. That's just a while ago. Even I did not remember. So apologize for that. Let me go back to the console, the main one, the main page. Okay, let me then go back to my tenant, which is MG Twitch tenant 1. This is where I am. So now I talk about, we're going to do the buy and sell, buy and sell. Where's my mural now? Here we go. So we want to do 2 topics, right? We essentially want to publish data to 2 topics. One is the buy topic and the other sell. So here we are doing is to set up the topics first. So over here, right, I picked my stream that I created, my Pulsar stream, MG Twitch tenant 1, and then go to topics. Maybe I shouldn't do it in here. Let me see. Okay, so I have not created any, but I already created the Astra CDC one in this particular tenant, but no big deal. We can add another topic. Oh, okay, so now I'll call it like trade, how about trade buy? I think I can use. Oh, I cannot. Hyphen. So I have to use hyphen. It's funny. Sometimes I use different things that have different rules, right? So let's say trade by, and I want to use a persistent topic. So that's another thing. There are differences too. There are persistent and non-persistent topics. So essentially, too, persistent, as you can, without even me explaining, you probably can guess. Persistent means that the topic will persist, right? Things will get stored, and basically, it doesn't expire if there are no subscription. So that's the difference. Is that for non-persistent topic is that if there are no subscriptions and things can time out and your topic will get removed. So that's kind of like the major thing about it, but there are different rules too. So I actually will be explaining this in a short video, so stay tuned for that, right? So I'll explain that later. But let's for now create a trade dash buy, like a buyer topic, right? Do that. Okay, so now if you kind of open, it's already here, and this is how you can access it, right? We can write to it. Our script will write to it. It's persistent. And then we can add another topic. So, okay, so now we get our two topics ready and it's right here. Okay, okay, cool. So now let's kind of go back to here now. So we created the two topics. It's pretty fast, right? Just created them just using the manage Astra DB streaming to do it. It's pretty fast. That's why I recommend to do it. You don't need to give your credit card. I think that's a really good thing, right? Otherwise, if you have to get credit card, you're like, no, 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 kind of like that. So DataStax does the right thing, it's not forcing people to give credit cards. So now then let me, what is going on? I just wanted to, I wanted to expand it a little bit. Okay, all right. So now what we want to try to do now is to read, this is a script, shell script, that's don't call it batch. Shell script. Shell script to load buyer side price data to the buy topic. Actually, you know what? Yeah, let's separate out both. So this one is the buy side script. We'll have two scripts, but like I said, because we know that we're loading, the format is the same, we can actually write one script and then just give it the file name, right? And then essentially read from there. So actually, why don't we do that right now? CLI shell script to load price data to the topic, to the designated price data to the specified. Let me kind of go back here. Oops. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So now, how do we load data, right? And I actually forgot yet. So let's kind of take a look. All right, and I haven't done it in a long time. I think there's a read, right? It's built into the shell. There's a read command. So, I think these are the different rules. Command, okay, external. Okay, external. Okay, so let's not worry about it. I thought I should be able to see how to use the read. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna be, have to look up Google. All right. All right, I just forgot, right? And it's actually something I used to do remember so well, but it really has been at least. I'm trying to think. The last time I wrote a script was probably in 2017. I mean, for a bit of a more serious script. I wrote a script for doing more DevOps type of thing, in which for a mobile build, actually a mobile app build, and it's essentially too the mobile app was using a an integration library called is Apache project. Apache, the mobile cross-platform Cordova, Apache Cordova. So so I was writing a script that's basically do builds of the Cordova code, and then it will deploy to iOS for iOS platform deployment and also for Android deployment. So I did that in Bash actually. Works pretty well, and also like install a cron tab in order to be able to auto run every day, at a certain time. So as you can see, not like I don't know how to write, but I really forget when I have not used it for a long time. So let's do this. Script, Bash script. Let's do an example. Once I see some example, I'll remember. All right. How do I write about? I think this guy, right? Foss Linux. Well, let's do the Linux hint. Actually, this hint might be good too. So take a little time. Why is it not loading? Okay, it's taking a long time. So let's Linux config. Why is everything taking so long? All right, let's do that. Foss Linux. I don't know what that. Okay, there we go. All right. All right, let's do something. Okay. Yes, we need the hash thing. Then I think mine is bin bash. So let me see. Yeah. Here. So and then so now I wanted to do a read multi-line. There we go. While loop. I want to do a read. Get user input. There we go. Enter your name. Okay, so read. So in this case, I want to be able to read a set of data from well, actually, you know what? Why don't we read it from the command line in this case, right? So we can do this, right? Get user input, right? We can do something like, enter your price data. Enter your price data. Press, yeah. And press. Let me do it like that. Enter your price data. One per line, and n by n your input by. Actually, let's not use the greater than because this is bash. Then I have to escape it. I guess I could too. Without any data. Something like that, right? Okay. Something like that. Okay, so we do that, and then basically, we can then do a read. Right. Well, actually, you know what? If I do multi-line, this is single, but if I do multi-line, Command line obtaining arguments, obtaining from names, substring. Oh, actually, you know what? I think I should be able to. This really means that I need to be coding more. This isn't good. I haven't coded in such a long time and cannot remember. Like I said, I used to do it like that. So bash script, read multiple lines. Ooh, see, some of these are real old, like 2012. So, whoa, actually, reading. How do you input multiple lines? There we go. Okay, read dash E. Read dash E dash P. Okay, and interactively with new line from command line, read input. This one, Stack Overflow. Okay. Actually, I don't want to look at this. I want it. It should be simple enough, right? Okay, this is it. So this Bale Dung is really good. Like I said, he's a Java champion now. So he's based in Romania, actually. So he has people doing writing for him too. This is great. So that's what I wanted to do. A parenthesize subscript. So yeah, so there we go. Um, that's it. That's what I was wondering. Okay, so enter this, and basically, too, I can essentially have a like that, right? Uh, but this one is actually interactive. Wait, how do I do multi-line, right? And here we go. Bash EOF. No, I think combining techniques. I wanted to do this inside a script. Writing a script. There we go. There we go. This is what I'm looking for. So within a script. Bash. Okay. Okay, here we go. EOF. Okay, cool. All right. Okay, here we go. Okay, now, but that's the thing too, is that if I'm reading it, I want to be able to send the price directly to the topic, right? So this is what I wanted to do. And okay, so maybe that's what we'll do. What I was kind of hoping to do is to read them in and then pump them into the topic all at once. But actually, using this method, we should be able to read and then pump, essentially read from command line and just immediately send it over to the topic. So read the price. And here we go. We need to then now find out how to do it in Pulsar client, right? Pulsar. Oops. I have not set up my. How can it be? Well, I thought I had two. Okay. Path. Okay. So what I'm trying to do now is basically have to. I already have my Pulsar client installed. So let me kind of show that to you. Actually, you know what? Over here. This is it, right? In my tools Pulsar 2.91 bin. Okay, oops. Okay, so, oops, sorry. There we go. Here we go. I need to be writing more code, and I have not got a chance. Sometimes, as advocate, we do a lot of paperwork. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, that's just part of the deal. So, okay, so here I keep my current path, but I will add, because even I forgot where I put my Apache. There we go. So, okay, here we go. Now I should be able to find my pulsar. There we go. Okay. Now let's see which command to use. Of course, there are too many right now. So basically, too, what I wanted to be able to do is to do a command line, sends it over there. I should be able to say Pulsar client, Pulsar, here we go. Produce the messages to a specified topic. Now, this is going to be taking a bit of time because so -m will be what I read in. However, it won't be so simple because I'm going to need to also send in, I believe, all of the information from my client .cnf or the configuration file, right, for all of the other things. Okay. Actually, you know what? I'm surprised too. So it looks like should be able to do Pulsar client and then do a produce and then all of these options and then the topic name. And then basically I can then specify -m, the messages. Then basically, the things that I read in. So let's give that a try. Although I do have to say that then I'm just assuming that I produce it, send it over to the topic. But the thing is, how long will it be kept, right? So I do, in a way too, I do need to make sure that these data that I'm going to send to the topic won't be lost. They'll be safe. Not like they won't be lost essentially. So, but for now, that's what we should be able to do. Figure out Pulsar that admin, not admin, client -m. Let's say let's test this first. Test messages, and then what is it? I think I simply can give it the topic name. Okay, so the topic name I can just get it from go back to my console in here. This guy. Okay. So remember we created let's say we just going to essentially send it over to this topic name. Actually, let's kind of take a look. So we do need the full name, so I'll copy that. And I should be able to say this, right? Like this. Let's see what happens. I'm surprised. Oh, that's right. Asking description for unknown command. Okay. All right. Well, I thought I should be able to say -m. That's the test message. I wonder if it's because I need to. I think that should do it. Oh, no. Okay. Asking description for unknown command, null. That is very interesting. What is the unknown command? Oh, produce. Oh my gosh, of course. There's no command because I didn't say produce. I'm trying to publish it there. There we go. Guess what? It is publishing it there. So now in order, oh, wait. Now it's got, okay, good. At least this is the right thing to do, right? So I am going to say, I'm trying to do it, and then it's complaining that my Mac OS DNS server address stream provider cannot find the IONetty resolver in the class path. And then, okay, well, that's fine. It's just warning messages. Fail to open connection. Oh, yes. Okay, so all of these are expected. Because if I don't specify because now I'm running the managed cloud, so I do need to get, well, I should say I'm running the topic that's on the managed cloud, and which I did. However, the client too, it wouldn't know. And so over here, topic, we could not get connection because first of all, it's trying to connect to the Pulsar, the connection, right? The broker URL. So how do we do it? Okay, here we go. I think it's here. Let me show that to you. Here, right? Auth parameters, the plugin, listener name for the broker, and the proxy protocol, all of these things. Actually, that's the thing is this, the dash dash URL. We need to I need to give that. Now, what is the URL, right? Okay, so let's do it again. URL will be this guy. If you go to dashboard, actually this guy, broker, right? This one, this is the one I want to connect to. So there we go. So that's what I just copy in Pulsar plus SSL, Pulsar, GCP, US Central, blah, 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 streaming 6651. Now that wouldn't work because it's going to need the authorization parameter, I think. Is that right? Param? Okay, let's go back. Yes, auth params. So basically, that would be the params is the token. So, and how do we get it? Okay, let's go back to here. I need to download my client CNF and then open it. Okay, here we go. I think it doesn't know what. Okay, let me kind of do it in here. It's got to my download folder. Client will be 3. Oops. Always do that, right? Okay. Client 3. Okay, here we go. This is the one. Okay. So I need my this whole thing, the token, this whole thing. All right. It's a bit kind of clunky because then you have to do all of these things. I mean, ideally too is that if we do have a UI, then you can quickly do all of these things. You log in, it should be able to auto kind of do some of these things for you. But maybe it's thing for future, right? To do it. So this is the param. This is the long one. Although let me put them into my. The thing is too is that I can always write a script, kind of wrapper and wrap it too, so I don't need to be typing in here all the time. But essentially, the key value will be token and then that, right? And then now one more thing I'm going to need is basically is the auth plugin. I mean, let's go back to here. The auth plugin is this guy, is the client.info auth authentication token. You will need that as well. Okay. Okay, so now I think this should, I would think it should work. Oh, okay. Oof. Okay, let me save it. You know how I do it? I kind of comment it, do it, and then save it in my, in my buffer. So, okay, so I have my auth plugin specified, and then the URL essentially is the broker URL, and then the auth param, which is the token, and then produce. I want to do a publish, right? And then the message is just a test MSG. And then to this topic, persistent, blah, 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 the trade buy that we just set up. Okay, keep our fingers crossed. Let's see, it should work. Something else. I think there's still something that it doesn't like. Let's see what it could be. Unknown command. You know what? Maybe I need to put the URL in quotes because it has some colon and it might be sometimes right on bash. it if I don't escape it, it might give an issue. But let me take a look first. Oops. Where does it go now? Okay. Let's see if it works. Okay. Okay. I think the persistent for the URL should be okay, but let's take a look. Ah, still doesn't like it. Oh, expect a command and got off plugin. Oh, the produce should come before rather than behind. But it's actually, you know what, it actually should recognize, right? But that's okay. I think it's just the format because sometimes too, I think some command line you can specify your parameters anywhere and then the command somewhere too because it's separated out by the dash and then no dash and like that. So, but that's okay. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Ah, okay. Well, I think at least getting a bit closer. Okay, now it's complaining that I am not using it correctly. So, what's the problem now? And my topic name, and all these are just options. And why is it not liking it? Produce, auth plugin, URL, auth param, not params, right? Let me kind of make sure. Oh, params, no wonder. I said param. I think that's what it is. Because it does not recognize my params. Okay, and I think it's dash. Okay, hold on. Sometimes all these things are like taking an extra time. Yeah, off dash plugin. Okay, sorry guys. It's actually dash. That's where I made a mistake. So off dash dash off dash plugin over there. Dash dash URL is fine. Here we go. Dash and params. That's what I missed. And then dash M for message or dash dash message, but let's leave it like that. Okay, I think this time it should work. Let's see if it's published. Ah, still doesn't like it. Let's see what's going on. Oh, please provide one and only one topic name. Yes, I am. Why is it complaining? Hmm. Uh, persistent, but I copied that in. Okay, I guess I'm not sure if anybody's watching right now. Let me kind of look over here too. Users. Okay, not sure if anybody of you are watching, but what could I have done wrong, right? I am providing like one topic name, and I copy it from there. So. Token, okay, dash M. You know what? Just for consistency's sake, maybe I'll use the over here dash dash messages. Messages to send either dash M or dash F. Default separator is comma. Oh, it's supposed to be dash M comma. Really? Wait. Maybe that's where I'm kind of like not doing it right. So let me kind of. Ooh, this is odd. That was odd. Did you guys hear that sound? I'm not sure why. I think something with my maybe the microphone setup needs to be updated. It lately has been interesting, like how it's giving an echo sound. But I'm not an audio engineer, so I don't. I mean, not a specialist anyway. So, not sure what it is. If you guys know what it could be, let me know. In the meantime, let me It says use a comma, dash M, S, MSG, maybe? Okay, let's give that a try and see if it might make a difference. No, okay, all right. I see messages to send. Um, okay, it's separator. Okay, well, default. Oh, it's just the separator is to split messages string on default is comma. So I'm just sending message. Okay, I'm very okay. So I'm not sure like why this is saying the persistent topic name is wrong. But let me go back to my console here. Right. If I go back to my topic, yeah. So this is what I'm using, right? Persistent. This is quite strange. So if I go to trade by this thing, yeah, that's what I did, right? I copy it right from there. No subscription, which is fine. Actually, let me bring my command line over here. Okay, let me do this one thing. Let me kind of do this one thing first. Okay, now let me go back to here and do this one thing. Okay, yeah, this is better. Okay, so let me see. I'm not sure. Folks, if you see anything that you can spot, let me know. That's obviously not doing right. I'm doing a produce, and it's just saying that I should only send it to. Okay, maybe because my messages doesn't. Oh, let me send multiple things. Okay, test. I wonder maybe because it doesn't need. I don't need to just for fun. Okay, and then now my topic name is that guy, which is what we were just looking at. So, all right, test one. I'm gonna send a messages like essentially like three, strings, substrings essentially. So let's see what happens. I guess it still doesn't like it. Provide one and only one topic name. Yes, I am. I'm not sure. All right, it's just sometimes it's so frustrating. Um, let's see. Let's go back in here. I mean, unless let me just do one. That's not kind of too complicated. Let's say test three. Let's do the double dash. Okay, let's see. So I guess it's the same thing. Still saying that I need to only provide one topic name. I don't think I need to put this into quote, but just in case. Okay, just in case. Let's see. Okay. All right. Let me not even have the messages. I'm not sure then how we can tell what messages to publish, right? If I don't use that. That's kind of essentially doing like a client produce, but no message, and let's see what happens. Okay, produce message to specified topic. Topic name, so that is my topic name. I mean, unless I don't need to specify the entire full name, it's just the trade dash by. Okay, let's give that a try. Maybe because I already have my authorization parameter and the URL. I don't know. Let's take a look. But I'm kind of just surprised because I am in my code too. That's how I specify my topic name. So I'll be quite, you know, like confused. All right, let's see. Maybe in this case, let's give it back the messages. Test. Oops. Oh, wrong. Test one. Bye. I don't know. This does not seem to make sense. Um, all right, let's take a look at some example. How about that? But the examples are kind of not easy to come by. So let's kind of take a look at Pulsar thing. Pulsar, run Pulsar locally? No, command line, client libraries. Pulsar client, what is it? This is only running it locally. Hmm. Oh, interesting. This example, right, that I'm looking at, right, is say Pulsar client consume my topic and dash S. Oh, dash S. For the subscription, that's for consume. So let me see. Produce a message. That's right. So I am doing the right thing. I say produce. Yeah, produce. Oh, maybe because my topic needs to come first. But then the usage says produce, right? Command and then options and then topic name. So that's what I do. Okay, well, let's give it a try. I mean, this actually has command, topic name, and options. So if it's wrong, then I have to tell folks that it doesn't work, right? It's kind of crazy, but all right, let's see. All right, and we have produce. Let me kind of like get rid of this. Okay, so messages. It's gonna be test one. Actually, how does it do it for the produce? Yeah, messages. So I am doing the right thing. Okay, so I say well, although I'm not using quotes, so let's put it in quote. That's one. If that's the case, then I really have to tell folks or maybe ask them about like what's going on, that type of stuff. So let's do it. Okay, this is place. Okay, let me go back to my streaming in here. Here we go. Or topic. I'm sorry. Go to topic. This is the guy, right? I want to publish to my trader by. This is where I put it there. Okay, so I'm gonna be producing it to this trader by. Give it a full name. Let's see if it works. Okay. Oh, still doesn't like it. This really baffles me. Although, provide one and only one topic name. Yes, that's what I'm doing. What's your problem? Well, this is really weird, right? Let me go back to this guy. Uh, produce. Okay. Now, this example here is assuming you're running it local. Well, of course, because this example, these documents are for like, your local installation. So, so let me go to our DataStax Astra streaming guides and example. Let's see. Uh, okay. API docs. DevOps API? Because if that doesn't work, then it's not good. I have to basically ask folks about it. I'm assuming that I should be able to use Pulsar client to do it, but um, oh, maybe I have to use curl command to do it. Then maybe, but that would be these are like creating tenants. Let me see. Yeah, these are just creating the tenants. Let's see API reference. But these are just DevOps API. Users, roles, get all clusters. Hmm. So this doesn't look too good if I'm not actually able to use the Pulsar client to connect with my. There may not be actually the integration yet on Astra streaming with the Pulsar client. But this doesn't look too good unless I can use Pulsar admin to do it. Let me kind of take a look. Okay, these are just admin, but I think admin, does it allow you to actually do publish through here? I don't think it allows you to do the admin because I'm able to do some of the Pulsar admin, but it looks like the Pulsar client may not work in this case, which is kind of a shame. So it's, again, the command that I'm expecting to be able to run is here, right? So as you can see, right, essentially is Pulsar client doing a produce and then produce to where? To my particular, my topic destination. And then I give the auth plugin. And then, and all these are taken, like the URL is my broker. I mean, unless somehow I need maybe it needs a certain order. Well, okay, if it's like that, I doubt it, but let's see, because you never know, right? And all right, let me then so so here's what I'm doing now, right? This is the broker, so it's assuming that I'm going to produce right to the topic, and then I give it like the broker URL is here, and then I give it the auth params, right? Okay. Okay, here we go. Auth plugin. That's what I'm gonna go back to get it from my from the conf file. Where is it? Here we go. Conf file. The plugin is this guy, right? Oops. Okay, so this is that, and then I have my auth params, which is the token, the key value pair, and then the messages. Right. That's all I'm doing. So let's see. This would be a problem. Oh, all right, so I really am a bit baffled at this point. It appears that maybe the Pulsar client actually may not have like true integration yet into Astra streaming. That is something that I need to then find out from the engineering team to see if that's the case. If that's the case, then how can we do command line, right? So that's another thing. So I need to then try to find out from them. Now, the thing is that that doesn't, stop us from actually doing any kind of connection. We can always do things programmatically. But as such, it's already, I've been streaming for 2 hours today already. So it's getting a little bit late. And I do need to get busy with another task. So I will leave this part of figuring out first to see if the command line is actually having issue with Pulsar client. And then if there's any specific usage that I need to be aware of, I need to find out to kind of just to get it to work. If that could work, then basically my scripting, the idea of the scripting should work quite well. And I can just use the command line to immediately, right? I can read from the command line interactively. I can kind of pump a bunch of data, and then when it's ready, then it gets basically published over to the topic directly right away. And then, of course, then we'll then have to worry about how do we deal with the data that's being published. Kind of, we're ingesting this, so that's the next step, right? The next thing to do will be to go back to our design doc here. So after we kind of ingest all the data, we basically can perform the matching. But again, in reality too, what we can do is do the matching as it happens. That would be true like real time. But because of this time box, I want to do it like 2 minutes, or maybe we can do it dynamically too. We actually make it a little bit more synchronous in that sense. Therefore, this is only a toy engine in this case. But I think I have kind of good confidence that it should work. So here's it. Here's the thing, right? So today we have kind of stepped through all of the requirements and started, we read through it and talked through it and then started doing. And the buy sell side, we're just going to do CLI, doing bash script format. And then this one too, of course, and then also with Pulsar CLI. So it's basically the Pulsar client, right? So you have to install them separately, by the way. So you'll be able to find it too on the Pulsar website, talking about which. But the thing is, now it kind of bothers me the fact that it actually doesn't seem to be working for the produce, from Astra streaming. I'm talking about the DataStax Astra streaming. Doesn't seem to be working with the command line produce. So the other way to do it is to programmatically, I can write a publisher, a producer, to basically programmatically publish the data over to that too, and that will always work. That should work. So we can work on that next week. But again, if you're interested too, you want to get a little bit, into it, go to your dashboard of where you have installed and created your stream, and then go to connect. Connect over here. If you want to write in Java, how do you do a producer, right? How do you do a consumer? All of these are here. And how do you do a reader too? So reader is a way to also kind of like read on a topic. And basically you don't need subscription too for reading. So it's kind of a good way of getting the data without a subscription, essentially. So you can do it in Java, or if you're more familiar, more comfortable with Python, there's also Python code in here. It's actually simpler, right? The number of statements are simpler for doing simple producer, simple consumer too. You can do that. And then also Golang too, if you are into doing Go, if you're more of a, I guess Kubernetes uses Go right, a lot. And so, yeah, you can try that too, producer, consumer, and Node.js. Folks are familiar with that, or WebSocket, JMS. You can do it Kafka, but Kafka, you actually need to enable it and all that stuff. So yeah, so give that a try and then see what happens. In the meantime, let me figure out with this command line Pulsar client, how to get it working with Astra streaming. And then next time we can also then get into writing the code for the producer, basically publishing the data. We can do it interactively, reading from the command line, and then, then immediately kind of publish to the topic, and that's what we can do. Okay, all right then. I hope you find this to be a little more useful than me just sometimes just talking all the time, not prepared, So I'm not all the way prepared, but at least I think slightly better today. So, but next week, actually talking about which I actually will not be in town because of the a work meeting. And then I'll be going to JBCN, which is another conference is organized by the Barcelona Java Users Group. So that will be for the following week. So that one, though, I actually will be coming home, I think. But in any event, next week, I may still be able to do a short stream. And then I can try to touch base on this and give you some answer on that. So All right. Uh, Please, everybody, take care, and I hope to see you again next week. Thank you so much for being here. All right. Okay. Take care. Bye.